My name is Ryan France. This is for Business 12, Fall 2020, Project 2. For Project 2, I decided to do my financial analysis of the retailers Target Corp, Walmart Incorporated, Costco Wholesale Corp. As you can see, Target's 10K for 2020 shows a total revenue of $78 billion. 112 million for 2020, which is a 2.7 billion change from 75.3 billion it had in 2019. Target's cost of sales went up from 53.2 billion to 54.8 billion. Its selling, general, and admin expenses went up from 5.7 billion to 6.2 billion, but it's still well below the 15.1 billion number it had in 2018. After everything is said and done, though, they still managed to go from a net earnings of $2,914 million in 2018 to $2,937 million in 2019 to $3.2 billion in 2020, which shows a continuous rate of growth over the 3 years. Now, looking at Walmart's 10K for 2020, you see a total revenue of $523.9 billion for 2020, which is a 1.86% increase from the $514.4 billion of 2019. Their cost of sales went up as well, from $385.3 billion in 2019 to $394.6 billion in 2020. Sales, general, and admin expenses went from $107.1 billion in 2019 to $108.7 billion in 2020, which is only a 1.53% increase. The stat line that really got me was this net income of $6.6 billion in 2019 to $14.8 billion in 2020, which is a 123.1% increase. That number really pops for me, but when looking closer, I see that in 2018 they had a net income of $9.8 billion that dropped negative 32.37% to that figure of $6.6 billion in 2019. Now, looking at that net from 2018 and comparing it to 2020, it really only comes out to an 83.25% increase, which is still a really great income boost, but not as good as that 123.1%. Now for our final 10K for 2020, which belongs to Costco Wholesale. They have a total revenue of $166.7 billion for 2020, which is up 9.21% from the $152.7 billion they had in 2019. Merchandising costs went up 9% from $132.8 billion in 2019 to $144.9 billion in 2020. Selling, general, and admin expenses went from $14.9 billion in 2019 to $16.3 billion in 2020, which is a 8.92% increase. Their net income in 2019 was $3.6 billion and went up 9.37% to $4 billion in 2020. Again, it's an increase, but I want to look at that 2018 net income, which was $3.1 billion and went up 16.75% to $3.6 billion in 2019. That 16.75% increase from 2018 to 2019 is close to double that of the 9.37% increase from 2019 to 2020. It's an increase, which shows a decrease in the percentage of income. So to pretty much recap these figures that I've given you, you see that Target's 2020 change for revenue was $2.7 billion, which is a 3.65% change. Their gross margin is $1.1 billion, which is a 5.39% change. Their selling, general, and admin expenses are $510 million change, which is an 8.91% percentage change. Their operating income was $548 million 2020 change, which is a 13.33%. Now their net income of $344 million is an 11.71% change for 2020. But Again, looking at the change from 2018 to 2019, which was 7.89%, or 23 million, to 11.7% change from 2019 to 2020. I like that increase. Walmart, their revenue went up from 2019 to 2020 by $9.5 billion, and which was an increased change of 1.86%. The gross margin only went up by 255 million, which is a 0.19%, not even a percentage. Their selling, general, and admin expenses are 1.6 billion, which is a 1.53% change. Operating income, $1.3 billion change, which is actually down 633%, or negative 633% from the previous year reporting. The net income is 8.2 billion, which again is that 123.1%, but that's only after it went down negative 32.37% from 2018 to 2019, which really worries me. That's a 3.1 million loss that 1 year. For Costco, again, we're seeing revenue 14 billion, which is a 9.21% change. Gross margin, which is a 1.9 billion, or 9.78% change. Selling, general, and admin expenses, 1.3 billion, or 8.92% change. Operating income, $698 million change, which is 14%, or 14.74%. And their net income of $343 million, which is a 9.37%, is good, but it is still down from that 16.75%, or 520 million change from 2018 to 2019. So to kind of put a bow on it, I think Target Corp has the better financials. Although Costco and Walmart do more revenue, Target has maintained a positive net earning the past 3 years, as far as percentage-wise and both money-wise. Costco and Walmart have both had a drop in the amount of income at some point in the past 2 years. Again, that's percentage-wise, and also actually for Walmart, it was numbers-wise as well. Target's selling, general, and administrative expenses are also lower than Costco and Walmart. So I have to say, given these numbers, that Target is the better financial company. I hope that the numbers that I've shown you back up my statements, and hopefully it's your feelings as well. Thank you for your time.